front now at $1,600. Is there any advance at $1,600? Sold.
This is Christine Vonderland. I'm the specialist for art and illustrated books here at Swann Galleries. On the afternoon of May 5th, Swann Galleries will offer for sale the Ritter collection of modern illustrated books and livres d'artiste. The books were acquired by Arizona collector Mel Ritter over several decades. Many of them were exhibited at the University of Arizona Museum of Art in 2006, and now the entire collection is being sold at Swann Galleries this spring. The collection celebrates the creative, artistic, and literary collaboration known as the livre d'artiste. This genre began in France as part of the vibrant arts scene and the birth of the avant-garde movement at the end of the 19th century. For books, this meant creations that played with the received notions of book art and set new standards for its expression. Artists and writers sought to break from established norms of book publishing and traditional standards of typography, printing, paper selection, and page design. Free verse and experimentation with rhyme, form, and meter allowed writers to play with the arrangement of words on the page, creating a natural, free-flowing dialogue with the visual arts. One example of this dialogue or conversation between artists and writers is Lot 29. This is a book illustrated by Georges Braque for the poems of Guillaume Apollinaire, entitled Si je meurais là-bas, or If I Die Over There. The book contains 18 woodcuts by Braque and is one of 180 copies signed by the artist. It commemorates the 80th birthday of the artist, the poet's comrade in the trenches, in reference to the World War I service by both men. Apollinaire died of head wounds suffered during World War I shortly after completing these poems about love and war, and Braque saw these poems as an excellent vehicle for his very free-spirited designs. Lot 107 is a book illustrated by Jasper Johns to the words of Samuel Beckett, called Foirade or Fizzles. It's really a superlative example of the contemporary livre d'artiste as produced by an artist at the height of his powers. Almost a catalog of Johns' work to date. There are his flagstones arranged, rearranged, his number series reworked, and these strange truncated torsos lying around the page. All of these elements are made manifest in etchings, aqua tints, and dry points of very subtle and startling articulation. And the images are juxtaposed with Beckett's typically absurdist and non-logically related text. The book is one of 250 copies signed by Johns and Beckett from a total edition of 300. Then there are books that can be considered meditations, such as lots 148 and 149, which are two works by Latin American poets illustrated by Robert Motherwell. Lot 148 is the poem El Negro by Rafael Alberti. It was the most ambitious project undertaken by Tyler Graphics, the publisher, and Motherwell. It incorporates 19 original lithographs, and very elaborate printing methods were used for this. Motherwell printed from images drawn onto mylar sheets with paint sticks, grease pencils, and touche, then transferred to aluminum plates for printing. The text and the illustrations are screw-bound into a portfolio, so the reader must literally and symbolically release the prints from their binding. And this copy is one of only 2 printer's proofs from a total edition of only 71 copies. Lot 149 is 3 poems by the Latin American poet Octavio Paz. This contains 27 lithographs by Motherwell and is one of 750 copies signed by the artist and the poet, done by the Limited Editions Club in 1987. Motherwell and Paz were close friends, and they often dedicated works to each other. And this collaboration arose from a visit by the artist to Mexico in 1967. And the works really continue Motherwell's preoccupation with the Spanish Civil War, and whose result here mirrors that of his larger paintings dealing with that subject. Other works are meditations on the comedy of life, such as Patrick Caulfield's Mordant commentary in Some Poems of Jules Laforgue. This contains 6 color screen prints, which are each signed and numbered and titled on the verso of the print, and it has an accompanying book. It's a large square format. The book is number 140 of 200 copies signed by Caulfield. The total edition was 560 copies. The book contains a separate sleeve of 6 loose screen prints with whimsical titles such as Ah, This Life is So Everyday, She Fled Along the Avenue, and You'll Be Sick If You Spend All Your Time Indoors. The poems of Laforgue were chosen by Caulfield. Though he died young, his verses are reckoned a landmark of the history of symbolism. The books in the Ritter collection illustrate the creative contribution made by artists and writers associated with a wide variety of movements, including Surrealism, Dada, Cubism, Symbolism, and Existentialism. For example, Lot 141, illustrated by the great Joan Miró, it's Les Pénalités de l'Enfer ou les Nouvelles Hébrides. This is a true Surrealist collaboration. It's a fabulous example of the books Miró produced during the last 20 years of his life, a wild and creative mix of colors coupled with the poetry of celebrated French Surrealist Robert Dine. There are 25 lithographs in the book, 20 of which are in colors. Many of them unfold from the basic format of 11 by 15 inches. This allows the artist to really explore the page, offering a combination of typography and image. A particularly intriguing theme in the sale are classics interpreted by artists, and Lot 58 is also an example of where sculptural elements can be used in a book. This is by Jim Dine. It's his interpretation of the Apocalypse and the revelation of St. John the Divine. The book contains 29 original woodcuts and is housed in one of only 8 specially built wooden cases with a relief sculpture. The book was produced by the Orion Press of San Francisco in 1982. They were a major American publisher of artist books. The Book of Revelation was the first of several projects between the Orion Press publisher Andrew Hoyam and Jim Dine. The text is set in 2 sizes of type as a reading device to differentiate the speakers, and is printed by hand. And the illustrations are vigorous lines of woodblock that imply motion. But what makes the book truly special is the binding. It's created from 2 oak boxes, housing a relief sculpture of a skull face by Dine, cast in bonded plaster and individually painted by the artist. And it was fabricated with a latched recessed tray for the book. There are several works relating to Judaica in the Ritter collection, and Lot 83 is an example of that, as well as another work that plays with text, style, presentation. This is Ernst Fuchs' illustrations for the millenary texts of Sefer Yetzirah and the 32 Paths of Wisdom. It's essentially a massive and beautifully produced work celebrating the text of the Kabbalah. It's one of only 297 copies of this collector's edition. The text is translated into 4 languages: French, English, German, and Hebrew. The Hebrew using type that was actually engraved in 1858. It's reproduced by serigraphy and actually embossed in gold.